I think I've seen the worst movie of the year so far, and we need to talk about it because, jeez, this looks bad. This is bad. It looks like a utter mess of AI produced Euphoria meets The Idol meets Black Swan. That movie's name is called Hurry Up Tomorrow, and we're going to be looking at that right now.
Welcome to the Lights, Camera, Rant podcast.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Lights Camera Rant. As always, I'm your wonderful host, Mr. Rant, and we are going to be looking at Hurry Up Tomorrow, which I saw this film this past week, and I must say, we're currently in May, and it is my top worst movie of the year so far I've seen. This is just one of those movies that you just watch, and it's just WTF. And like, what the hell was that? And it's one of those movies that I've seen really good praise for that I'm like, we didn't watch the same movie. We didn't watch this. So Hurry Up Tomorrow is starring The Weeknd. And this movie cost $15 million to make. It's currently made $2.5 million at the box office. And it's based on an experience that he experienced a few years ago where he was really stressed and he lost his voice on stage. So from that little instance, he came up with this particular movie, which is meant to be a psychological thriller. And look, you probably think I'm being absurd. No joke. The whole plot is basically on him, a fictional type of story on him. The fact that, he's currently going through a mental breakdown. He's lost his girlfriend, who apparently he's done horrible things to, which we don't find out what that is. And we've got Lee, played by Barry Keoghan, who's his coked up manager, who's trying to push him, going, yeah, more tours, more, keep going, which is not helping with him. And then we've got Jenna Ortega's character, Amia, who is a crazed fan who burns her child home, has a strange relationship with her mother, who goes to go find him, steals petrol because she's got no money and she wants to go to his concert, which she does go to his concert. He loses his voice because he's under so much stress and has these moments of like someone shadow dark following him in his dreams. So then he ditches the concert. He meets Amelia because she jumps the stage and goes to find him. They have a great night. Then next morning he's gonna leave because he's got to keep, going on and making music and involves them on concert dates. She loses her mind. She whacks him with a wine bottle. Then we have this 10-minute horror basic moment of him having this really horror moment with scared and made me jump because it's just dark and like something's taken straight out of like a really dark horror flick. He wakes up and then he's tied to the bed. And she makes him listen to his music, like the blinding lights and gasoline, and does this weird dance thing. And no joke, I'm still telling you the plot 110%. With this weird dance thing that's saying, you need to tell me, you need to be truthful with yourself. You need to tell it, you really need to come out. All these women that you've done horrible things to, all these women that you've treated like trash, you can't keep living on this. You can tell by your music the fact that, you're going through something or you're horrible and you're having this extension crisis experiencing right now. And then Lee, Barry Keoghan's manager, rocks up, finds him. She kills him and then goes to set him on fire until he has a song which he sings out loud, which she thinks is beautiful. Then she sets him free, and then she goes on free. That is literally the plot of this movie, and my God, it is confusing, slapped together. I was watching this, and I was just like, why was this greenlit? Like, if you just made it about a biopic film about his career and him going through heartbreak and the struggles of being an artist, I think that's a movie right there. That would have been good. And if it was Jenna Ortega, bringing him back to the real world. Yes, I know a lot of people probably would have been like, oh, that sounds like generic and that's been done before. But that would have made a better movie than what we got with this bizarre thing. And not to mention, we've got part of being a psychological thriller when I'm like, okay, he's going through a breakup, yes, but his music, his career, why did Lee have to die? His manager. This film seems like it's been slapped together just to make it. And, you know, The Weeknd can do a little bit better with his acting. His acting was on point. Jonas Hegg was fine. And of course, Barry Cogan was fine with Lee. Their acting was all right, but The Weeknd could do a little bit better being here. I did see some comment that this is basically just a glorified music video, which, oh, it's just not something like I highly recommend. This is not a movie I'd pay for a ticket to go see. This is something you go find on streaming service for this film. This isn't going to be blowing box office records. This isn't something you're going to remember. This is just going to have just a major what WTF when you look back on this film. It it's like, don't get me wrong, like the music is fantastic. Some of the shots are great to look at. You know, the psychological moments are good to good to experience, but things just seem out of place. And it's like at the end, it was like, what was the whole point of this? Like we don't even feel like we get a full resolve of it all, of everything experienced. Not to mention, Jenna Ortega's character is also having some kind of like crisis with her mother as well. On she needs to do this, she needs to get away. I hurt people. Like even her is like, you don't make a lot of sense on what's happening with you as well and why you're messed up. And trust me when I say this is not a film I'm going to come back to for 2025 and watch this again. It is just car crash that's swerving left to right, and at the end it's still nowhere near where you think it's going to land. And yeah, this is not my top pick. This is not something I recommend watching unless it's on the streaming service. If you're a fan of The Weeknd, you probably will like him. But at the same time, I think he needs to have another crack at the movies because he can do it, but I think he needs another crack at something completely different. And what also makes no sense is if he was going. Probably another thing is it shouldn't be really him, and it shouldn't have been about his career with his real music. If he was going to be just playing an artist, take away from him actually being who he is, that would have made more sense. But just mixing in with your real life, it's just. Oh, like here you go, and you're like, huh, this is great. This is good. This is more like okay. But look, if you have seen the film and you think I'm wrong, I'd love to know what you think and we can rant about it. But so far, top pick of worst movie of 2025 so far. So hold me to that. But look, let me know in the comments what you think. Am I wrong, or it's bad, or it's ugly? Let me know. And as always, until next time, happy ranting.
Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy ranting.